welcome to Millennial Talk Tuesday. I am Sasha Allen, a millennial realtor here out of Monterey County. And joining us, we have Miss Leslie Ann.
Hi, Leslie Ann Seal. I'm a realtor in New Jersey with Halo Realty, and welcome to Millennial Talk Tuesday. So happy today to have a wonderful, wonderful guest, Miss Tasha Triplett. And Sasha, can you give us a little more intro about Tasha here?
Yes. Oh no, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Tasha.
No. I was just gonna say thank you so much.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Sasha.
So Tasha has been an educator for about 15 years now. She also is living out of Texas, but from Memphis originally. So I was gonna say welcome, but it's not like I live in Texas. But yeah, she was previously on Home Ownership Changed My Life. So welcome to Millennial Talk Tuesday. And take it away, Tasha. Tell us a little more about yourself.
So thank you so much, Sasha and Leslie. I am super excited about being the guest speaker today. Just like you said, I am originally from Memphis, Tennessee. I moved to Knoxville, Tennessee to be for school. Went to the University of Tennessee, Knoxville. Then after that, I started teaching. Then I moved to Beijing, China. I was teaching there. And then I moved to Houston, Texas to be a administrator, principal of a school. And my first year in Houston, Texas, 5 of my teachers got laid off because we didn't meet enrollment. And so that was October. And that's the beginning of the school year. Mm-hmm. And that was like my eye opener. And so once that happened, I remember my brother-in-law and my sister started talking to me about getting my licenses in the financial services industry and the importance of doing that. But really, they said, Tasha, it's still education. It's just teaching a different subject. And so once my teachers got laid off and they didn't have a plan B, nobody gave them another job or anything to go to, I knew that I needed to do something different. And I knew that I needed to educate people in a different way. And so that brought me to being a financial coach and really providing people with the financial literacy and things that we weren't taught in schools. And so that's why I'm super passionate about what I do. So thank you so much, ladies, for having me here again. Super grateful for the opportunity.
Oh, well, we are blessed to have you here. Yes, welcome. Now, the concept of financial literacy is one that we definitely need to emphasize. It's something that I'm very passionate about because I know for me in high school, we had a very limited education, and it was only because I took certain elective business courses that they even went over things like your checkbook and balancing your checkbook. It wasn't a requirement. So what kind of facts have you found, or in your training and in teaching with people, what things have you had to kind of educate us on that we didn't receive information on, that are misinformation that the general public kind of should be aware of?
Okay, so I think that when it comes to finances, most people don't really talk about those things. It's such a taboo subject. And so just really educating people on the importance of saving enough money, educating people on making sure that they have a proper debt program in place, debt stacking program, so that they can get rid of those debts. Also making sure that people honestly are comfortable enough with talking to someone like myself. Oftentimes I always say people struggle in silence. And so just really helping people get past the fear of even addressing, okay, you know what? I don't know how my financial situation is. I need some help with this. Just really coaching people on those things. But I would say those are the main things, really saving, helping people get out of debt, and then just getting past the taboo of even talking about finances.
Yes, it is really taboo. Well, I wouldn't say taboo being also in the industry, but people are really kind of shy, or they want to, I don't know. I think the Black culture really is don't talk about money, and we really do need to break that, especially with millennials. And I actually think we're doing a good job now. So what are 3 things that millennials should do with their money to help prep for home ownership?
Okay, so when we're thinking about prepping for home ownership, it's super, super duper important to make sure that we have a plan in place. And I kind of touched on some of the things already, but before we even talk about prepping our money, the main reason why people don't have money is because they have too much debt. Okay, so we got to tackle the debt first. And so there's a program that I help my clients put together. It's something called debt stacking. So helping them get out of debt so that they actually have the resources to be able to afford the homes that they actually want. I also help people think about saving enough money. So making sure that they've saved at least 3 to 6 months after tax income in an emergency fund. I mean, honestly, that's safe, but really you need to have a year's worth saved up, because you just never know what'll happen. You know, when it comes to having a house is a beautiful thing. But I mean, we all know that things can happen when you have a house. I mean, every 90 days it could be something. And it might not necessarily be something that happens with your house, but it could be something that happens with life that prevents you from having the resources. So, you know, people really have to see, okay, am I prepared for this? You know, was I prepared for the winter storm that happened in Houston where my lights were out, the pipes burst, all these different things? Did I have the money set aside for that? Or was I just living day by day? You know, then in addition to that, was I prepared to get new tires? Because in Houston, Texas, and in Memphis, I would say, I think that the streets are made to mess up the tire. So it's like you need tires so often, but do you have that money in place to be able to afford those things, or are you still struggling from a financial standpoint? And so then also thinking about, you know, the third thing outside of fixing your debt, saving your money, but the third thing is putting money into your company's 401k or IRA or whatever type of investment they have. You know, it's super important to have that in place, because at the end of the day, when we're putting money there, we got to make sure that we're matching. If the company is matching, let's put that same amount of money there, because at the end of the day, our goal is to become financially independent, even with having a home in the process. So if we are saving up our money, if we're investing that money into our company's 401ks and things like that, then it really prepares us for when we decide to have the home ownership, or really pay off the home at the end of the day. And so, yeah.
So basically it sounds like, you know, when people are preparing for home ownership, before you even get to thinking about owning a home, it sounds like you just need to be fiscally responsible. You have to make sure that you're not creating more liabilities and then trying to squeeze and finagle assets, because this is how we get all over the place in times of emergency. So even if the best way, in my opinion, is to go from living with a relative, saving your money, getting your finances right, and then purchasing. Just skip over the whole renting thing. But if you are renting, you need to have that savings together before, just for your own self and your own safety, before you even think about getting a home, because that savings, you can't then transfer to a down payment, because if something happens, then there's no emergency fund.
Yeah.
But
And
we did have a viewer.
Oh, I was going to say, actually, that brings us to our viewer question. So she asked, and this is from Miss Dominique Jones Davis. So she asked, which should we start off with first, paying off all of our debt or building an emergency fund? So I think that's a good question.
So that is a great question. So some things that when I'm talking to my clients, I talk to them about both, honestly, because at the end of the day, it's super important to have that emergency fund in place for emergencies. We just never know when those things are going to come up. But then also, once you pay off your debts, it frees up the extra money that you need, so that you can put towards your emergency fund, you can put towards any other priorities. And so I really teach my clients how to do those things interchangeably. You know, when it comes to debts, most people are overpaying all their debts, and by overpaying, I mean paying more than the minimums. Why? Because people are trying to get out of debt really, really quickly. And so when I help people target just with the funds that they're using to pay off their debts, when I help them target, okay, let's focus on this debt, paying more on this debt, paying the minimums on the other ones. Once we pay off the first debt, let's roll this money down. Once we pay off the next debt, let's roll all that money down. So we're stacking that money up, stacking the debts up to get rid of those debts. But at the same time, we're not using any extra money. So the money that you have, once you've budgeted your money, that extra money, we can start putting that money to the side into your emergency fund. So that's how you're able to do it at the same time. And so that's really key. I know we talked about the 3 things that millennials should do, but budgeting was definitely something that we got to have. Having a clean cut budget in place really prepares us for the inevitable. It really prepares us when we're thinking about owning a home. And so, yeah.
We had another viewer question, and that was an excellent answer, by the way. I think it is very important to prioritize your debts. And if you do have that amount budgeted, then you can easily reallocate that same amount to continue to work towards your benefit. Now, if you're looking to build generational wealth, at what point is it a great idea to see a financial advisor?
Immediately.
Right.
Now, I'm so glad that they asked that question about building generational wealth. That's something that we don't often talk about in our communities. And so it's something that we definitely should start talking about. Other cultures, their babies are born into generational wealth. Why? Because grandma not only left money for her daughter, but grandma left money for the granddaughter, and then the children's children and the children's children. And so it's something that I talk to my clients about all the time. I talk to them about ways to build generational wealth, whether if it's through making sure that they have life insurance in place for, God forbid, something happens, you leave their money as an inheritance to your family. Even if there's a business that the person might have that they can pass down to their family. Just having those different things that most people don't necessarily think about, or they don't necessarily consider, that's creating generational wealth. And so those are some key things that I help my clients with. But yeah, whoever asks that question, immediately, that's where I start with when I'm talking to my clients.
Well, it's funny because we actually had another viewer question from, I believe it was Maceo, who wanted to know, at what point do you get life insurance and what kind? Because, there's various kinds of life insurance, and depending on what you're looking to do and when you want to access and what kind of access. So if you could kind of give us some info on that.
Okay. Wow. So when it comes to life insurance, most people think, oh, you know what? I have life insurance on the job, so I'm good. But honestly, jobs change, we change, the benefits change, all kinds of things change when it comes to the job. So I'm always teaching my clients about the importance of having life insurance outside of the job. Why? So that you can have a peace of mind. Why? So that you can have some stability. The second thing is, people think, oh, I'll get it when I'm older. I'll get it when I'm older. I'll take a look at it. I'm in my 20s now. I'm in my 30s now. I'm living life. Nothing is going to happen to me. Well, COVID has showed us that there's no age.
Right.
There's no age when God is going to call us home. But even a personal experience, when I was 27 years old, I was perfectly healthy from what I thought. I worked out, in shape, everything. I was living in Beijing, China. I ended up getting a leg injury, went to like 3 or 4 different doctors in China. Everybody was saying, oh, you pulled a muscle, you pulled a muscle. So at the time I did have life insurance, but I wasn't familiar with the kind that I had. I just got some random insurance before I moved out the country. And so I called my brother-in-law and my sister, and I'm like, hey, look, I want y'all to look at what I have. And so they took a look at what I had. And my brother-in-law was like, oh my goodness, you don't have what you think you have. We need to sit down.
No.
So I'm thinking, okay. So when I get back to America, I'm gonna sit down with y'all and you can help me. Well, I got back to America. I'm still having this leg pain that I was having for 3 months straight. I went to a doctor in America and he said, Miss Triplett, your right leg looks substantially larger than your left leg. I think you might have a blood clot in your leg. I went and got the ultrasound, found out that I had a blood clot, and that literally changed my life. The doctor said, you're lucky to be alive. You've flown 15 hours from one end of the world to the other part of the world. And it could have instantly gone from your leg straight to your heart or to your lungs, and it could have killed you.
Mhm.
So me, I'm up here panicking, like, oh Lord, is it my time to go?
Right.
I'm only 27. I got so much life to live.
Mhm.
And so I called my brother-in-law and I'm like, okay, I need you to help me with my life insurance. He tried to help me and they did not approve me. They did not approve me because at that point I was uninsurable.
You already had, yep,
Right.
I was uninsurable. And if I
yep.
had listened to him when he first asked me and not said, oh, I got it, I got my stuff together. No. And so I had to wait about 6 to 9 months only to get reconsidered. And they did approve me eventually, but then it was at a higher rate.
Yeah.
Of
I could have
course.
avoided the higher rate if I would have just listened. I could have avoided the higher rate if I would have just said, you know what, I can get this while I'm young and healthy. So the answer to Maciel's question is, while you're young and healthy, while everything is going right, you know, while you are, life insurance is all about your age, your health, your
And
weight,
the risk.
all those things
Mm-hmm.
are a factor. We never know what'll happen, even when you're in the best shape.
Yeah.
Think about Kobe Bryant, for example. Kobe was living his best life just the day before. And so those are the reasons why you got to sit down with somebody like me. You know, those are the reasons why you need somebody to educate you on the different types of life insurance. Even thinking about the different types, I think they asked, thinking
Mhm.
about having, when you're young, you want the most coverage, right? While you're young, you have a
Mhm.
lot of liabilities and things, from houses to cars to your debts, all these things. Your debts don't die with you. Your houses don't die. They don't die with you. Your cars don't die with you. All those things are there. And if you don't have enough life insurance to cover the cost of those things, then you lose it all, everything that you've worked so hard for. So I talk to my clients about, making sure they have enough term insurance, because you can get a larger amount for a smaller amount of money now. And then over time, you can always renew the term, and still make sure that your family is covered, making sure that all your things are covered. Again, because yeah, we would all love to live to be 136. I'm claiming it. But if God changes something, in between time, we have some things in place and it's more coverage for our family.
Yes. And like you said, the earlier you get it, the less expensive it's going to be.
Yeah.
You're young, you're healthy. I mean, hopefully
The
nothing
risk is
happens
low.
to you, but
Hopefully.
yeah, your risk is really low. And if you have a
Yes.
family, the younger you get it for them, the less expensive it's going to be. So,
Yes,
and you
ma'am.
can use life insurance to purchase homes and do other things of that nature. So it's always something good to look into. Please call Miss Triplett.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I can, in
Now,
all 50 states, wherever you are, I got you.
now,
Okay.
Miss Triplett, we had another question from the comments. You got our comments popping. Okay, first of all, I just have to
Right.
say, the comments is like popcorn, and I'm just snatching them up over here.
Yes.
Now,
Miss
we
Dominique
wanted
is
to
on
know,
fire.
yes, we wanted to know, do you believe it's important to be debt-free before you purchase a home? Or do you think that it's possible to purchase a home while still having some outstanding debt?
Okay, that's a great question. When it comes to purchasing a home, they look at your debt to income ratio. So if you have a whole bunch of debt and your income is not balancing out or it's not lining up to it, then it lessens your chances to get approved for certain loans. I think a lot of times we have high dreams, big hopes. We want these huge houses, or we want to live in these particular neighborhoods, and you got to have money for those things, and you can't have a lot of debts. So my suggestion when I'm talking to my clients and they're interested in buying a home, my first goal is, okay, let's get some of this debt down. Let's make sure that you have money saved up just in case you need to put down a down payment. But let's shave down these debts. So then when they look at your when you shave down your debts, it also improves your credit at the same time. So it's like a twofold thing. We're getting rid of the credit card debts. We're getting rid of the student loans if possible. We're getting rid of the car notes and all that. So again, our credit is going up, our debts are going down. Now you're more marketable, or someone that lenders are looking for, like, oh yeah, of course I'm going to approve her. Of course I'm going to approve him because he doesn't have a lot of liabilities already. He doesn't have a lot of debts. I know that as the lender, they're thinking, I can trust this person to pay their mortgage, Why? Because they don't have a million other things that they're paying for, so that they can truly actually focus on paying the mortgage. So yes, you need to make sure that you get your debts down. I mean, most people, they're not going to get rid of all the debts,
Well,
but
I
at
was going
least,
to say,
uh-huh.
I had a question about that with respect
Yes.
to the concept of debt free or pare down your debt, because it's a big difference, because you do need
Mm-hmm.
a certain amount of debt to sustain a credit history.
Mm-hmm.
So in instances, let's say for parents that are trying to guide their kids to build generational wealth, let's say from high school, they don't have any credit.
Right.
What way, when they're going off to college, is the best way to build a healthy credit, but not a debt? You see what I'm saying? That needs to
Mm-hmm.
be cleared before purchasing a home, because there's a certain amount of play that it takes to, you got to be in the credit game to earn it. So can you kind of give some advice there?
Okay. And that's a great example. Something that my grandmother personally did for me was, so when I graduated from high school, I opened up my first bank account with Bank of America, and I actually got my first credit card. Now, I wasn't really using the credit card like that personally, but my grandmother helped me build my credit by getting a couple of things for the house. Like, we were building some things around the house. So getting a couple of things for the house, but also paying it off that same month. Not letting your bills or your credit card debt go over months and months and months. I mean, that's just personally the system that I use even today. Even with my credit card, if I buy something on the credit card, I'm gonna pay it off. I don't like to see the balance, but just really keeping yourself, keeping yourself, um, I would say focused, and focused on your goal of, okay, these are the things that I have, these are the debts that I have. I mean, of course, like you said, not necessarily being completely debt free, because you're right, you do need to have some sort of debt that's going to continue to build your credit, but also making sure that you're not exceeding the percentage. If you do have a credit card, if you do have a furniture bill or something like that, there's a certain amount that you can spend before it's looking like you're spending too much. So just really taking note of, okay, I'm not going to spend more than 20% or 30% of my limit. Just keeping that limit down. And then once you have that focus, and then of course thinking, okay, if I spend something this month, I'm going to pay it off this month if you can. Just having those things in mind, and it helps you with continuing to build your credit, and also keep your debts lowered at the same time.
Yes, and I'm happy you mentioned the credit builder, because there's actually a credit builder or a financial builder and a credit builder on the House and the Car website.
Mhm.
Yeah, so you can take a look at that, and you kind of just put in your debts, and it'll calculate what your credit score is, and if you pay this off, what your credit score will be. So that's really just one of the helpful tools that's on the website. Mm-hmm.
Well, most definitely. Yeah. The House and Car, we definitely put together a lot of free resources that, people can just go to, especially if they're thinking about correcting their credit, getting ready to save for that down payment, just building a general knowledge, and to get that baseline understanding, and then to go to someone like, Miss Triplet here, who
Yeah.
can then give you the specifics on how to stack that cash and get yourself ready to purchase a home. Like, that's just a winning combination, don't you think?
Yeah. And
Yes.
that brings me, oh, go ahead, Sasha.
No, I was gonna say, to kind of build off what y'all were saying, even thinking about when people are thinking about money and I want to get a home, you got to have a plan for how much I want to spend on my home. I don't know if that was a question that y'all were going to ask me, but I kind of want to kind of
Yeah, no,
I want to,
please.
yeah, I want to throw that out there, because let's just say if a person they say, okay, I want to get a $250,000 home. Well, you got to then identify and utilizing y'all's free resources. Okay, so how much is that going to cost me? What is my mortgage going to be based on the current interest rates? How much am I going to be paying? Now, let's just say a person that doesn't have the house yet, but at least you projected in advance. But then you start to save that amount of money. Okay, so let's say it's $1,500, just throwing some numbers out there. Okay, it's $1,500 a month. Well, let me start saving it. Let me save that for 90 days. Let me see if it's comfortable for me to save that for 90 days. If I can't do it, then that's too much house. Then I need to go back to the drawing board. And so when people are thinking about, okay, I got to get a house, I'm trying to see if I have enough money, then you got to have those plans in place before you even get it, because you don't want to get in a situation where you get in a house and you can't afford it. And
Right.
so those are
I've
just some of the
seen
things
people.
that I coach my clients on.
Yes, because you
You know,
never want to be house poor, you know.
no, and I know plenty of us have seen clients who they go shopping, house hunting, because they got a certain pre-approval and they didn't sit down and ask themselves or talk to the finance person and say, well, what does this pre-approval translate to monthly based on the current interest rates? And then when they start factoring that into their other obligations, now you done made offers, you're in a bidding war, and now they accepted your offer and bing, bang, boom, oops, I don't want to pay that. How many times does that happen? Like, let's not waste each other's time when there are professionals, again, like our girl, Miss Triplet, who can walk you through. You can do it yourself, do your own due diligence on the house and the car website to get your feet wet to figure out those numbers. But if you really are specific to a goal, or let's say you're determined to have that certain kind of home, and you're like, I'm going to get it. Well, then you're going to need specific advice from a financial advisor to help you put together a plan to successfully get what you want. But to just state it as this is what I want, like, good luck.
Yes.
Good luck with that part.
Yes, well, it takes a lot of discipline too. I mean, it's hard work to be a homeowner, and discipline. You really have to start prepping at least, I would say, a year and a half in advance. I mean, if you're not already in the mindset of, okay, I'm going to budget, I'm going to save, I'm going to start working with a financial coach, definitely, then you're going to be in a lot of trouble.
I'm in the boat, sis. Yeah. I'm trying to get me a house. I became a realtor for that reason. Exactly. And speaking of becoming a realtor, the house in the car also has a virtual school. So you can get your real estate license in all 50 states. Now, I don't know many people and places that can do all of that. Yeah. But when it comes to getting to the bag, real estate in general is one of the only industries that you can run it up and nobody's going to be mad. Right. The more you sell, nobody's going to be upset. Your bank account, nobody's going to tell you, whoa, stop, long as you pay your bills and your taxes.
Well, hold on, wait a minute, Leslie. Let me throw a plug out there. Also, financial coaches, that's another industry where nobody's going to stop you from making a lot of money. So if you're thinking about getting another source of income, you have ladies on this call that you can talk to us. So
right, exactly. I might go on that route too. Why not?
Look, yes, you know me and Sasha, we already got the Mary Kay down. Now don't do it. We're going. You see what I'm saying? Because us smart melanin magic sisters, we could do a lot.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Yeah, and if COVID has taught us nothing, it's that we all better be trying to get our own bags.
Yes,
multiple streams. Yes,
queen vibes only.
Yes.
Queen vibes only. We are kingdom builders. That's, if anybody's watching my social media, that's definitely been the hashtags of the season. Queen vibes and kingdom builders, because it's about the legacy. It's about the melanin magic legacies that we all are capable of building, that we just never realized that we were capable of building. And that's why I'm very passionate about this platform, because we really are insisting that, look, we are capable of doing these things. We are professionals. Some of us already are homeowners. Some of us, like me, are not. So I'm not telling you anything that I'm not doing myself. And these are all things that are better learned when you're younger, millennials and Gen Z, and all of you all. If you can get the ball rolling now and utilize the free resources and the professional services that are available to you, well, then there's no reason why you can't start to diversify your assets and then begin to ready yourself for home ownership and everything that comes along with it.
Yes. Excellent.
And speaking of diversifying assets, what are your thoughts though about cryptocurrency and diversifying assets with respect to, getting ready to level up for home ownership? Because we get hit up with these ads, and I swear my DMs be popping with the traders and the Bitcoin, and I'm like, ooh, I don't know.
Listen,
I need a word.
When it comes to, man, that, crypto, that's the thing that everybody is talking about, but the cryptocurrency world got hit really hard last week. So, when honestly, when it comes to things like cryptocurrency and, trading and things like that, it's just so volatile, you know, because we don't necessarily, it's the fad, you know, that's what everybody is doing. So that's why it's so, I would say it's so high now. Everybody is trying to get going. But honestly, I mean, I feel like it's just like the last thing that was the last thing, like the like the money circles and like all those different things like that. You know, that's really what I think about. But when I'm thinking about really creating generational wealth, when I'm thinking about actually having something tangible, that when I mean, me, I'm all about helping people. Like that is my ultimate goal. Helping people, making sure that people are getting to the next level, for real, leveling up from a financial standpoint. I try to give my clients tangible things that they can actually use to grow their money, that they can actually use to see major changes, not just for the now, not just because everybody is doing it, you know, actual things that they can use. And so 20 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, they're still set up. You know, when we think about, let's just say if we went and talked to someone who was 70 years old, you know, really asking them, what if you could change one thing about your young 30-year-old self, what would you do? I'm quite sure everybody would say, man, I wish I would have saved more money. I wish I would have invested more money. And so, you know, those are the things that I'm teaching people now, especially coming from the world of education. We don't teach people those things. Kids aren't learning those things in schools. I didn't learn those things in grade school. I didn't learn that stuff in college. And so now as millennials, we're learning it now, after student loans, after credit card debt, after all the things that we're facing, so that we can kind of get over the hump of all that. But now, you know, when you know better, you do better. And so hopefully we're able to use these things so that our kids and future children, they don't have to fall in the same paths that we might have gone into. So yeah, I mean, that's my, you know, that's my spiel on it. But I definitely think that people, when it comes to actually getting the bag, growing the money, saving and investing all day, in the right things, investing in the right.
Well, that's the thing I was going to say, because again, we hear a lot about these fads with Bitcoin and things, but at one point the stock market was a fad, and the stock market has become a very lucrative, you know, thing, but it is still in and of itself is a young thing. Generally speaking, it's a little over 100 years old, if I'm not mistaken. So it's like, with respect to diversifying your assets, the expendable income that you have, is it more so where you take like a certain, let's say 1%, and we gonna try this thing over here, and if it do something, you know, it do something, and we not mad that we lost the 1%, because you know you gotta be in it to win it, but like the llama don't play like that. You know
like,
what?
I'm going. I don't know about that, Les. I think it's safe to invest in the 401k that your job offers. A lot of people don't know. No, yeah. No, a lot of people don't know that your job will match. No, go ahead, Leslie.
Well, the only reason I'm asking is because 401ks are based on the stock market. So this is why I'm asking the question about, with respect to diversifying assets, how much would you think to allocate towards something like the stock market? Because again, in 401ks, your money is matched. So now, you know, they risking what you risking, we all risking, but that still is only capped. You see what I'm saying? There's a whole other world of the market between day trading and long-term investing, like the people that have shares of Apple and all that kind of stuff, they got in good. That's I think is more in line of like, if you have no idea where to start with diversifying your investments, like where do you, if you want a house?
So that's a good question. That's a good question, Leslie. You know, you're right when it comes to, let's just say the 401k on your job, or an IRA or something that you have on the job. They do only match a certain amount. Let's just say 4%, just throwing some numbers out there. Well, once you've put in your 4% and they've matched their 4%, then, you know, that's pretty much where you are. You need to take your whatever extra funds you have, and you do need to put it elsewhere, because you know, when it comes to growing your money, and really when it comes to your 401k on a job, even just thinking about retirement as a whole, what is your financial independence number? I teach my clients about this all the time. And people say, Tasha, what is a financial independence number? Well, It's the dollar for dollar amount of money that you need in order to be able to retire and never look back. I'm talking about being on a beach somewhere. I'm not talking about retiring at the age of 60 and then you got to clock back in at 63. No, like I'm talking about having the actual amount of money and you knowing what that number is. Now, sometimes you might not necessarily get to your financial independence number just by pouring into your job's retirement. You might need to invest in a mutual fund or some sort of an outside IRA or another type of investment that's going to go along with it, so that you have an opportunity to stack your money and put it together so that you actually have enough money to be able to live that dream lifestyle that you want to, or get the bag, like you said before. And so just
and
really
also
identifying
control, right?
that. Say it again.
I said, and wouldn't that give you more control with respect to like with the job? Most of the time it's funds, right? So you have some control over which stocks and which companies you're invested in, but you don't have the ultimate final say depending on what's going on in the fund itself. But then when you start to deal with financial advisors and personal investors, they have that specialized, where they know which stocks, and you can kind of be more specific again with day trade, short-term investment, long-term investment, with respect to flipping your money, in the safest ways possible.
Right. And that's why it's important. That's why it's important to be able to talk to financial coaches, like you said, because we do have access to those things. The client has more options. We're able to see, okay, what works the best for you based on your current situation. And so that's, honestly, when it comes to financial coaches, people don't necessarily understand what we do. They don't actually understand the importance of financial coaches. We have so many people on social media that's out here saying, okay, I can teach you how to build a business. I can teach you how to be your own boss. I can teach you how to get money fast. But, the question that I always ask people is, do those people have the licenses and certifications to be able to really coach you to do those things? Have they actually done those things themselves? And so for me as a coach, yes, for me as a coach, I'm always thinking, man, okay, my goal is, and my job is to, one, make sure that I am advising my clients, giving them accountability, because if we have accountability for working out, why can't we have accountability for our finances? Giving our clients direction, but then also offering correction. Oftentimes, people don't know if they're going in the wrong direction. People don't know how much to save every month. People don't know how to get out of debt. People don't know these things. And so as financial coaches, that's what we do. Whenever a person is sick, they go straight to the doctor. Whenever a person has a legal issue, they go straight to a lawyer. But when it comes to a financial issue, they either don't talk about it. They're talking to somebody who's in the same situation they're in or worse. Or, it's just one of those things where they kind of fake it until they make it. And so, as a financial coach, I'm able to help my clients take the emotions out of it. I'm not emotionally tied to your money. You are. And so as a coach, I'm able to coach you through whatever situation it is, and guide you, not only helping you with saving and investing and creating generational wealth, but again, providing that financial literacy that we just weren't taught. And so as I honestly, as Black women, as bosses, I think that it is so important to make sure that we have things in place, that we're the ones that's talking to people. And that's why I'm super passionate about what I do, because I feel like we need more people that's like us doing these things. I feel like if we don't do it, who's going to do it? Nobody's knocking down our doors to help change our situation, especially with the times that we're living in. We got to have some people like, financial coaches that's truly going to reach out to people. And most of the times, when we think about rich people, they all have financial coaches. They always talk to their people about their money. That's why they're rich. So we're
in a pandemic. The government has given us a lot of free money. And for the people that didn't need that free money necessarily, this would be the perfect time to hire people like my girl Tasha here, who will help you not waste your money on Gucci frames. Know what I'm saying?
Well, tell us how to reach you, Tasha.
No, but I'm just saying, we heard a lot of people where a lot of people said they were either going to run and invest all of this free money, or we saw a lot of people on the gram.
Stay off the gram. But
Yep.
Tasha, telling people, no, go ahead, Leslie.
No, I'm saying somebody pick up the phone and call Tasha. Please don't be on the gram stunting in front of you and not having like, unless it's an investment piece and it's a tax deduction, what we doing?
Right,
Hey,
exactly.
look, you know, I mean, I talk to people all the time, you know, they got the stimulus money, the income tax checks, everything like, oh, okay, I'm about to go splurge, buy a new bag, buy a new car, buy all these things. But did you save and invest any of that money? Did you make that money make money for you? Because you could have took the money and flipped it and made more money than what you had before if you actually knew how to do it, if you sat down with somebody like me. And so, you know, oftentimes when people think about financial coaches, they think they got to spend a lot of money to have one. No, that is not the case, you know, and that's why I'm super passionate about what I do, because, you know, I could charge a lot of money to my clients, but my goal is helping people. My goal is helping more people to become financially independent. So honestly, I don't charge my clients. I sit down with them. I help them to put together their financial program. No, it does not take away the value of what I'm adding, because trust me, their lives are being transformed every day. But I think my bigger purpose is bigger than the money that comes from it. So if you would like to reach me, you know, I said all 50 states, everywhere. I'll give my number out, and then I'll say my email address, and hopefully y'all can post it in the link. But my telephone number is 901-825-8650. I'm gonna say it again, 901-825-8650. And then my personal email address is Natasha, NATASHA .triplet TRIPLETT 3@gmail.com. So please hit me up. If you hear this message, if you want to shoot me a text, in the text you can put your name and Millennial, so I can know where you got it from. And you know, I'm always offering complimentary consultations to clients. I definitely want to be able to help our millennials, because at the end of the day, we got to start somewhere. And so I definitely want to be that face, be that person to be able to help people do just that. And also, oh yeah, and you guys posted my scheduling link, so you can click on my link. You know, your girl is always booked and busy, but I got time for you. Please, please click the link, get on my calendar, and I would love, love, love to be able to see if I can enhance where you are. You know, you don't have to be in a bad financial situation for me to sit down with you. Even the richest person still needs to make more money. You know, even the person with the I would say with the 6-figure jobs, are you allocating your funds right? Are you putting as much money into your 401k? Are you saving and investing enough money? Everybody needs to have that conversation. So again, just to reach me again, just in case you didn't hear before, my number is 901-825-8650, and my email, Natasha, NATASHA .triplet TRIPLETT 3@gmail.com.
Thank you so much.
Here. Y'all gotta run, go see my friend Tasha now, because you know she just said she gonna get you to the bag. If you 6 figures, that ain't 7. Okay, if you ain't 7, we need 8, and we gonna keep on rising with Tasha's good sense. And remember, no shade, but I'm gonna need y'all to have some education. Like Tasha, if you gonna pay your money, if you gonna spend them coins, I'm gonna need you to spend it with somebody that's gonna help you flip them and not slip them from your pocket. I'm just saying.
Yes. Thank you so much, Tasha. We greatly appreciate you being here, and we had so much fun with you today. So thank you.
Thank you so much, ladies. I really, really appreciate it. And please call me at any time. Send all your people my way. I definitely will love, love, love to help them.
Well, you know, we're gonna have you come back once they shut down all of this mortgage and stays and all of that, and everybody starts, hey, I gotta pay my bills. We gonna have you back in the fall, I promise you. We're gonna need your help.
Okay. Thank you, ladies.
It was a blessing.